Hello, my name is Kinsley Greenlaw, and I'm excited to share with you some of what I know about salamanders. I work with Creek Connections here at Allegheny College, and I will be talking with you how humans impact salamanders and how you can safely find them. There are hundreds of species of salamanders around the world, and each have their own special place in the ecosystem, including the ones in your backyard. Some of the salamanders that you can find in Pennsylvania include the eastern redback salamander, the northern red salamander, and the slimy salamander. But there are 22 salamander species in the whole state of Pennsylvania, and that's a lot. Salamanders can be divided into two basic categories, the terrestrial salamanders and the streamside salamanders. Terrestrial salamanders live in burrows under logs and leaf litter, while streamside salamanders live under rocks in and around streams. Salamanders need somewhere that is wet or moist so that their skin does not dry up. They have semi-permeable skin where, instead of breathing like we do, they take in oxygen through their skin in the environment. Another cool thing that salamanders can do is whenever they feel threatened, they drop their tail. And they can actually regrow their tail, which is something that is really cool that salamanders can do. Unfortunately, salamanders are being threatened by human activities. One of the main ways is habitat destruction, either directly or indirectly. Nitrates and nitrites in the fertilizer that we use on our farmlands can enter the stream from runoff due to rain. When these chemicals are in the salamander streams, it can affect their energy. They don't swim as strongly and they don't eat as much. Because of the semi-permeable membrane, they take in too many chemicals that are toxic to them, or their skin can be blocked by these chemicals. Another way that we harm salamanders is through habitat fragmentation. Habitat fragmentation is when a human-made obstacle splits a forest into two different ecosystems. This is because when it's hard for species to move across, say, roads or subdivisions, they can't interact with each other, or they can't go to vernal pools or streams, and they cannot cross any roads because they might get run over if they try to. The amount of food and territory that a salamander can have is severely reduced, and this may increase competition between the salamanders and decrease the amount of reproductive success. Why should we care for the salamanders? Surely, since they are so small, they don't matter as much. Actually, they are really important for the environment. The United States has the most number of salamander species in the world, and if we stop caring for them, most of the salamanders would be gone. Salamanders feed on insects and macroinvertebrates in their ecosystem, and animals like the possum and larger fish depend on them for food. Without salamanders, the entire ecosystem's food chain would fall apart, and that would not be good because that would destroy the entire ecosystem. So how can you help the salamanders? Make sure that you are throwing your trash in the right places to reduce pollution. And if you're driving on roads that are around wetlands or streams on warm and rainy nights, drive carefully to see if there are any salamanders trying to cross the road. Or you could find some organizations around you that advocate for the protection and conservation of salamanders. Some are only a quick Google search away, and you can also find some ways to appreciate salamanders in the wild. If you want to try and find some salamanders in the wild, there are a couple precautions you should follow. First, you should make sure that the day you plan on leaving, you avoid using any lotions or hand sanitizers. Salamanders have semi-permeable skin, meaning anything on your hands can harm them. Second, make sure that you find a safe place to search for salamanders and always bring someone who knows the area. You should always bring maps, water, and extra snacks. Third, you should start to try and actually find salamanders. You can find salamanders under logs and rocks on the trail or under rocks in shallow streams. Flat rocks are better than round rocks, and larger, rounder logs are best. For streams, you want to find rocks that are along the edge of the stream. You want to be somewhere where the dirt is moist enough for the salamanders to live in, or where it is not too deep for the salamanders. Always ensure that you do not have anything on your skin that can harm them. Once you find a log or rock, you want to carefully lift the log or rock and look all around underneath. And when you find one or even multiple, you can look at their markings on their skin to identify them. If you're not sure, you can ask for help and take a picture of them. With the picture, you can upload it to the app iNaturalist, and then people can look at your picture and add an identification to the salamander. If you do upload pictures, you can join our project called Creek Connections-NWPA or Creek Connections-Pittsburgh area, and maybe I can add an identification. Hopefully this helps you understand how we as humans impact and interact with salamanders. I have mentioned a safe way to appreciate and learn about them and how you can help protect their environment. If you're interested in learning more, you can check out our website at sites.allegheny.edu/creekconnection/ for activities about salamanders. I hope you have a great rest of the symposium and happy salamander hunting.